do Halloween really well. They really took it and commercialised it. It was ours first, but they were masters at it.
They've certainly taken it over.
You know, I think Salem is one of the most popular towns that people think of when they think of scary places to go.
Because of the Salem witch trials,
absolutely.
Right?
But not just that. You know, it's the heritage and it's the architecture and it's the stories of the people who lived there. Like Nathaniel Hawthorne, the great novelist, he actually lived in the House of the Seven Gables, which is one of the must-see sites in Salem. And you can take a little tour and travel around and see it. And he kind of visited Concord and lots of places around Massachusetts where he's left his trail, like the Wayside Inn. Now, there are witch houses and there are lots of witch museums where you can see enactments of the trials and you can, you know, go down to the dungeons, you can walk along graveyard tours and you learn about the people. There were 19 people, actually, that were hanged and one person tortured to death. So it was a really...
And they were innocent?
They were all innocent. It was mass hysteria. It was kind of like the pilgrims came over from Europe and they still had the, you know, the memory of the terrible witch trials that had happened in Europe. And it was an example of mass hysteria gone crazy.
So how does the city embrace its dark history during Halloween?
It celebrates it fantastically. It takes the whole month to celebrate the haunted happenings. And it starts at the beginning of October, so it's going on at the moment. And you'll see things, even police cars will have a little witch, you know, painted on the side. There are cafes called the Witch's Brew. And in the streets, they've got these amazing stores where people will read your fortune, they'll sell you crystals, and all around witchcraft and witchery. It's fabulous.
No surprise that Stephen King grew up in this area.
It certainly isn't. He actually grew up in the town of Bangor and he used it as kind of the inspiration for the town of Derry, which features in it and Pet Cemetery. And the house itself, it is really spooky. It's a Victorian mansion and it's got all the gates and apparently there are cobwebs and things.
I'm not knocking on that door to be a trick or treat.
No, thank you.
But the whole area of Maine, you know, New England is so rich with fantastic places to see and history. You've got Vermont, you've got Connecticut, you've got Hartford. There's an awful lot to see in New England. And loads of flights from Dublin direct to Boston.
Amazing. Now, you did mention it was the Europeans, the pilgrims, that brought the spookiness over to America. But let's go back to Europe, where it actually started. Because
now you're really going to frighten me.
Dracula's home.
Dracula's home. Well, Dracula, of course, we can claim him as our own. Bram Stoker from Dublin, of course, wrote the fantastic story.
The casino in Marino.
And I'm actually recently just back from Transylvania, which is, it's in the north of Romania. It's about a third of the country, and it's beautiful Carpathian Mountains and the Fagaris Mountains. And Bran Castle is actually the must-see place. You can even go for a day trip from Bucharest. And it's this kind of weird building with all sorts of little add-ons and little dungeons.
Beautiful.
And there's actually an exhibition at the moment of torture equipment. So that's a really spooky thing to see. And you've got Vlad the Impaler's bedroom. And Vlad the Impaler was rather nasty to his enemies. You know, he did impale them, which I don't
like your
need to
dinner.
describe that. But, you know, Elon Musk last year, he took over the castle and flew in all friends and millionaires from around the world. And he didn't turn up himself. What? So they were very disappointed. He did. But you know, you can hire the castle and you can put on parties there, or you can go to the events that are actually, you know, there's an itinerary of events through the month. You can bring kids up during the day.
But the castle is the must-see place.
The castle is the must-see, and Brazov is the town. If you want to stay in Transylvania, it's absolutely beautiful. It was just shown there on the cliff. It's a beautiful town. And they do a market on Saturdays, and of course I had to buy some local garlic, didn't I?
Of course you would, and wear lots of it around your neck.
Hanging around the house, get rid of the vampires.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'd expect to see the ghost of Christopher Lee popping up. Anyway, there's lots of stuff going on here at home.
We are
the people who invented the whole thing.
The Festival of Samhain is the celebration of the harvest, the bringing in of the harvest and the shortening of the days and the lengthening of the nights. And it's when the veil between the human world and the spirit world is at its thinnest, apparently. So the Boyne Valley does it really well. They have the Spirits of Meath Festival, and that's a great website to look up and find out about what's going on in the whole region. And starting off in Kells now, there is an amazing food festival from the 2nd to the 5th of November. And this is going to take place in the Headford Arms Hotel, and in the surrounding areas there will be all sorts of cooking demonstrations, and there'll be fire eaters, and there'll be all sorts of events happening. The Michelin star chef Enda McAvoy is going to host a big banquet in the hotel, and there's going to be chances to meet your favourite chefs and to see buy
Okay.
cookbooks, and really just embrace the region. But pharmaphobia is back. Now, I was scared stiff at it, but I loved every moment.
I'm dying to go there. Walk us through, what is that like?
It's in Causey Farm. It's absolutely massive. I don't know how many acres it's over, but it's set in 5 different parts. And for me, the cornfield is the best because you're walking through these, 15 feet high, sheaves of corn, and you don't know who's going to jump out at you. And there'll be a chainsaw, and there'll be daggers, and the actors are so scary.
That's why Martin said it's a great place to go if you're constipated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you've got any kind of a problem, that will sort it out. Yeah.
Now,
what if the fella with the chainsaw has had a bad day? What if his girlfriend just broke up with him?
You must be over 13 and with an adult if you're under 16.
You must have a good pair of runners on so you can get away from them.
Now, we can't mention the Boyne Valley without talking about the Puka Festival.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Well, the Puka Festival is it's returning and it's so popular. It's kind of a huge event that's run in 2 parts. It's in 2 areas. It's in Trim and in Athboy. And it's really a fantastic celebration of the Samhain. And there are events running from the 27th to the 31st of October. Now, there's a great lineup this year. You've got Damien Dempsey, you've got Marcy Gray, you've got Mac Fleetwood, and the Water Boys will be there. And in the comedy tent, you've got Jason Byrne. And you can find out all about that on the pukafestival.com. But like you go to Spirits of Mead or the Boyne Valley website and you'll find out all about it because there's going to be so much happening for the little ones as well. There's so much, the BYs and the Puka Spooka on Causey Farm. There's so much happening.
So much Quick mention for Derry, because we're nearly finished.
Well, this was actually voted #1 New York Times best place to go to because everybody dresses up in Derry and they celebrate for 4 fun days, and you'll see acrobats on the street. They do a massive parade on the last day and they finish it off with fireworks. But it lends itself really well because it's a gorgeous walled city and there are great places to stay up there too. I just love Derry. If you have the time, get up there for one of the nights. That's running from the 28th to the 31st of October. And you can,
That's it. And by the way, that bank holiday weekend is only 3 weeks away.
I know.
Yes.
So close. We're
We've
so
waited
close.
so long for a bank holiday weekend.
Get ready
Michelle,
to get spooked.
thanks.